So they were on Jihaad Campbell, and everybody else is like, "Oh, how can we take Jihaad Campbell? He might not be ready to play."
I'm going to turn the page here. All right. And we want to get to a topic, John. I'm going to move into a topic here on the Eagles rookies. All right. And specifically on one player, Jihaad Campbell. And I want to kind of lay out one, how good Jihaad Campbell's been, and then what kind of how this linebacker room might evolve through the next couple of weeks. All right. Jihaad Campbell, John, it came down, PFF put out their top 15 NFL rookies through week 2. All right. Number 2 on the list was Jihaad Campbell, second to only Jackson Hawes, the rookie tight end with the Buffalo Bills, who I think is getting a lot of his grade as a run blocker, which is fine, but a run blocking tight end there, Jackson Hawes. And then you have Jihaad Campbell, graded out at an 83.7. A pleasant surprise, John, for the Birds to have another rookie performing at this high of a level. And boy, he looks like he could be a great player in this league, John. Only a couple games into his career, he already looks damn good, John.
Yeah, now this is where I'll rip the rest of the NFL. I wrote about this. Like, I can't believe the short-sighted thinking of this league. And I'm talking about the worst case scenario. So, I mean, we all know Vic had said he was told by the training staff he wouldn't be back till August. There was concern he wouldn't be able to play week 1, and he might have to start the season on PUP and miss some games because he had March labrum surgery. And this is the reason he fell to the Eagles at 31. They traded up one spot. They tried to trade up to 22. They started to try to trade up at 22. So they were willing to take him that high. And some people, I saw one report that said even higher. I confirmed 22. So they were on Jihaad Campbell, and everybody else is like, "Oh, how can we take Jihaad Campbell? He might not be ready to play." Again, I say, who gives a shit? If you hadn't seen Jihaad Campbell yet, very similar to Cooper DeJean last year. Remember, Cooper didn't play until week 6. Were you happy with Cooper? Like, and again, I'm talking about organizations.
It almost feels like how the hell do you think like that if you're an organization?
That's my point. And the answer is simple. Other GMs don't have leashes. So they need to prove themselves always in the immediate fashion. So really the big problem is ownership. Because if you believe in a guy, you have to give him a leash to do some things. Because if you're constantly GMing for your job, you're going to make shitty decisions. And say, well, I know this guy's better, but I need this guy because I need somebody to play right away because I got to keep my job. I mean, that is the worst way to go about any profession, but that's pro sports. The Eagles are rare. And Howie gets to make these decisions, and Howie knows if it doesn't work out, he's not going to be run out on a rail.
Right.
Now, he hates when you bring this up. He likes to say he's not on scholarship, but guess what, Howie? You are on scholarship. And
Howie's earned that to some extent.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying acknowledge it because that's one of the big. I'm just saying it's one of the big advantages he has over his peers. The biggest.
Yeah. Well, it's good ownership, John, but it's also good GMing because most owners might look at their GM and they might not think that they're going to get better. You know what I mean? Like a Howie, I think you can honestly look and say, at the very least, Howie will try and get better every time he makes a wrong move. I don't know if other owners have confidence in their GMs. Like, for example,
well, that's another thing.
You were tough on Ryan Poles, and it's like, hey, maybe and they already given him a contract extension, so it's probably not a good example. But I'm just saying, other owners might look at a GM like that and be like, all right, he hasn't been great, and I don't really see him improving or trying to fix the mistakes he made. I'm going to blow him out.
Well, that's the second part of it, and yeah, Ryan still stinks. Don't get that conflated.
I know,
But
I know. You're not a Ryan
that
Paul.
that the second part of that equation is they're also don't feel the ability to move on from mistakes. That's why they hang on to first round picks longer than they should. That's why they hang on. Like, how many teams would have signed Bryce Hupp to that contract last year? No, they would have stuck him on the back, even if they're not going to play him. The vast majority of teams would have stuck him on the back end of the roster until after this year and then moved on. And Howie's like, no, Vic doesn't like him. We're going to move on. And I'm going to figure it out. So it works both ways. On both ends, he's got a big advantage because he's allowed to point out, essentially, when you do something like that, you highlight, we made a mistake. And the quickest way to fix a mistake is by admitting a mistake. But other guys don't feel comfortable admitting a mistake. So they say, like, you watch with JJ McCarthy. That kid is going to be an albatross on that franchise for 2-3 years.
I know.
And that was a terrible, terrible. And I don't like to be in pain. Look, he's shooting nothing to the point where you say, all right, there's a lot, there's this, there's that. Carson Wentz got a chance to take that job. That's how bad it's been.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't think he will, because I don't think Carson has that much left. But you made that. Now they made a bunch of bad decisions because they had a bunch of good but not great quarterbacks in the organization, and they misevaluated. They're going to double down. It's just the worst case scenario. So it works both ways for the Eagles. They can afford to take chance, and they don't always work. They did it with Sidney Jones, top 15 talent who tore his Achilles at his pro day, and they said, we'll wait. Didn't work. So it doesn't always work.
Well, it's working right now for the Eagles and Jihaad Campbell. I'll tell you that much. He's graded out real high,
yeah.
John.
Well, and he was there, and the worst part for the rest of the league, he was there week 1.
I know.
He was there day 1 of training camp.
It didn't even happen the way they thought it would happen. John, I'm going to give you some of the grades real quick on Campbell. Overall grade is 83 point. Again, only 2 weeks. I understand that. All right, 13th out of 111 linebackers on the overall grade. The thing that stands out the most, John, how about his coverage grade right now? 88.3. He's 7th out of 111 graded linebackers. And we always talk about coverage and linebackers. Jihaad Campbell is off to a very good start, Johnny Mac, especially in coverage and just as a versatile linebacker. I think he's got Vic foaming out the mouth though with him and Bond out there, man. Both playing good right now.
Yeah, because the rep, and that tells you about rep. Yeah, and is the one thing that hasn't been great is his pass rushing grade.
Yeah, right.
Which was and that's what everybody was like, oh, he's going to be a big pass rusher, and all of a sudden, he's doing some things in coverage with his length, and he's running down the field in Tampa too, running the pole. He's doing everything in coverage, but he looks like he's a work in progress, to be kind, on the pass rush.
Which I don't think is a big deal. I mean, he's a linebacker. Right now he's playing off-ball linebacker. You know what I mean? I think that's a process that takes time for edge rushers.
Well, that's another thing. I mean, he they're already starting to use him in different ways. Of his snaps, and where, again, it's a very small sample size, but 87 of them have been an off-ball linebacker. 19 of them have been as an edge defender. So that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
And 6 in the slot. So, normally when teams are spread out, you're going to have a linebacker in the slot. And then even he's been wide twice. So essentially playing cornerback. So you hear about some of these people around the league that play all over the place. And that was the envision, that he's going to be a hybrid player. So he's already, and you saw him drop down a lot in Kansas City to go to 5-man front. So they come out in their 4-man front, and then they drop Jihaad Campbell down on the edge and change it to the 5-man front. He's already done that a bunch of times, and that's only going to continue as he gets better at it. But yeah, very unique, very versatile, very long, obviously very athletic. And if he does get the pass rushing part of it down, look out, man.
Yeah.
Look out.
No doubt.
And the rest of the league should be ashamed to allow this type of talent to the reigning Super Bowl champions. Ashamed of themselves.
Yep, no doubt. Jihaad Campbell leads rookie linebackers in PFF run defense grade. All right, so he's playing great football right now. John, now this is I think where I'm wondering, fans are wondering what's going to happen here. Is this as simple as Jihaad Campbell's here, Nakobe Dean ain't coming back on the field, or is Nakobe, who posted up on Instagram, doesn't mean he's going to be right, but let's just use it for now that he's going to be right, returns in week 5. Maybe it's a little later. Whenever Nakobe Dean returns this year, do they put him at the mic and switch up the role for Bond and Campbell? How do you think they play this when all three are healthy? When all three are healthy, I think you got one of the best linebacker rooms in all of football. I think you might already have one of the better linebacker rooms in football. But when Nakobe comes back, you get a player that was playing really good. We'll see how he plays off that injury. That's a big injury. But how do you think it changes, or is it kind of just, look, Jihaad's playing too good, Nakobe's not going to get on the field? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if Jihaad keeps playing like this, yeah. Nakobe is SOL, as they say. Yeah, I mean, now a lot of things happen. Somebody might get hurt. Somebody, tons of things can happen. And again, just because a player says it doesn't mean he's going to be back in week 5. Could take longer. If they continue to play the way they're playing, and obviously Zach is, I think we should all, Vic said, stop asking about Morrow. He's a good player. I think people should stop asking even more so about Zach Vaughn and say, was it an anomaly? No, it wasn't. He's damn good.
He's a good player, right?
So he's got, now with a rookie, there's probably going to be some ups and downs, and things can change. But if he continues to play the way he's playing, Jihaad, he's not coming off the field. And they're not playing 3 linebackers. That's not the way the modern game is played. And he's not playing edge rusher because Zadarius Smith is here.
Yeah, right.
And Zadarius is a big time edge rusher.
Yeah.
Like, he knows how to play the position.
And Nolan's been good at setting the edge and doing those things. I mean, he's got some work to do as a pass rusher, I think, but Nolan so far looks pretty good as well. I mean, definitely not a liability out there.
No, Nolan looks fine. So they're, the Zadarius Smith makes it less likely that Jihaad plays at edge. So unfortunately for Nakobe, now again, a bunch of things can happen. Guys get hurt on the edge. Guys get hurt a linebacker, and you might need them. But I don't think they're taking Jihaad Campbell off the field.
No, I don't either. Well, it's going to be interesting because when Nakobe does come back, it does create that question where, I saw somebody put, and the reason I asked is I saw someone post on social media yesterday, man, when Nakobe Dean comes back, this linebacking core is going to be, your core is going to be the best in football. And I'm like, are they going to get them all on the field? I don't know how that would work.
Well, the people, I mean, Vic was literally asked that question. And I don't know if people remember.
Chuckled,
laughed. That's not how modern football is played.
I just didn't know. I mean, you do have two versatile type of linebackers in Campbell and Bond.
Look, I said this with Saquon last year in the opposite way. Saquon split out is a day off for an NFL slot cornerback. As good as he is as a receiver, is a day off. For an average NFL receiver, the best coverage linebacker in football is a day off. It is an absolute, you're changing an enormous strength into a mismatch for the other side.
Yeah, well, they're not going to do that, but I was thinking only potentially.
Well, defense is a reactionary position. So if the other team is playing 11 person, like the Rams, that's all they do. That's all they freaking do. You're not putting 3 stinking linebackers on the field to deal with Puka Nakua, Devontae Adams, and Tutu Atwell. Good luck. No matter how good they are. Make a super team and add Fred Warner to the mix of Zach Pawn and Jihaad Campbell. Well, they're all so good. Get them on the field. Tutu Atwell will scorch them. I mean, then that's why Vic chuckled. I mean, they are not putting 3 off-ball linebackers on the field. Now they might do it in short yardage. Again, then you'll get people. McMullen said they had him. They might do it in short yards. They might do it 10 times a year in specific circumstances. They are not doing it on a consistent fashion. And he already got that question, and he chuckled. No. They are not doing that.
Well, the only thing I would be thinking is if they put him on the edge or put him in a different type of role. I agree with you.
That's why I said Zadarius Smith. Zadarius Smith shuts that down.
Yeah.
Now Zadarius is 33 years old. You know, maybe he gets hurt. Then you start to have those conversations. At that point, is Jihaad Campbell good enough to play edge more? And then you could get 3 of them on the field at the same time. But they're not playing. And that's also what Vic said, because he's people should know because the labeling is a problem with fans and even media, because you might have them on the field at the same time, but one of them's not playing linebacker. One of them's playing edge rusher. Could be Zach Pawn as well. He can do it. So Vic, when he was asked the question, he said, would you ever have 3 on the field at the same time? Before he laughed, his first response was playing linebacker.
Right. And then he chuckled.
And then he got the yes, and then he chuckled. Yeah, that's just not the way the modern game is played. Defensively, you're again reactionary. You have to react to what the offense is doing. If everybody shows up tomorrow with a fullback, the Sam linebacker will be back. But I don't think that's going to happen. And neither does Vic.
Well, we'll see how that position develops. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I guess Nakobe Dean's time in Philly will probably be coming to an end after this season. Unfortunate, but I think that's part of just kind of the way football goes with roster building. John, looking at the Eagles defense right now, boy, that Joshua Uche, and I know it's a smaller sample size, but man, he's graded out like a freaking beast right now, John. Are they maybe they'll get him some more snaps out there to rush the passer? I don't know if they will or not. Now they got Zadarius Smith, but Joshua Uche's had a good start grading wise for this team.
Yeah, he's played very well. But yeah, I would temper that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very small sample size. And he's the 4th edge rusher, and might he get a few more snaps? Sure, but that's part of the reason why he's being so successful is those limited snaps, and he's got the full tank and all the juice. And if you have to be very careful if you increase those snaps, you have diminishing returns. I think that's the Eagles' philosophy with Josh Uche. I think he's in the perfect position as the 4th edge rusher, and he's helping a lot. But they want to keep him at that 4th edge rusher. So, he's playing 20 snaps a game or something like that, and given productive snaps. But, some of the best edge rushers. So, he's played, let's see, what's
35
he played?
Snaps,
35. And, let's see, put the edge defenders. You get the Max Crosbys of the world. 128. Max is number 1. I was just guessing. 128 through 2 games.
Yes. Way lesser.
Grenard 119, Burns 119, Granderson 115, Thibodeau 114. Karlaftis 109. You got all these guys over 100 that are out there basically, 90% or more of the snaps. That's difficult to keep up, that level of production at with that number of snaps.
Yeah, no doubt about it, John. And then the other guys graded out. The defense is interesting, man. A lot of guys graded out really high on this defense right now. Only 2 games, but definitely something to monitor. You got Uche was number 1, as I mentioned. Then you have Jihaad Campbell, number 2, Zach Bond, number 3, Nolan Smith, 4, Zadarius Smith, 5, Cooper DeJean, 6, Jordan Davis, 7, and all of them with pretty high grades. So 3 edge rushers, John, in that top of the list, my friend. We were worried about those edge rushers. Nolan Smith's played well. Zadarius Smith has played well. And then we mentioned Uche obviously gave the context to that one. But Nolan Smith has 96 snaps, so he's got a lot more. He's great.
Oh yeah, Nolan's got to play a lot, and he's playing well. And it's interesting we talked about Campbell. I think the same thing applies with Alex Hunt. Like people are like, and Vic has said this very early. People say because of his size and he looks like a pass rusher and he's fast and he's so athletic, he's actually a better run defender. So I think it works out for Vic because he can play him on early downs, the young guy, and save some of those bullets for Zadarius Smith in obvious pass rushing situations. So I think that's going to work out. I think that's going to work out well.
Yeah. John, what about Reed Blankenship? He is graded out at the bottom of the list. All right. A 33.9 grade through 2 weeks overall. Not good. Not good so far for Reed yet, Johnny Mack. And he might be betting on himself this year. So I don't know. Reed better pick up his game if he wants to get a contract bigger than he was hoping for.
Yeah. He got blamed for the 2 coverages. Now, the 2 blown coverages. So he had a really bad grade because he got blamed for that. Now, Vic has already said that 1 was a Dory. So they probably got that.
The grading sucks sometimes. They got it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really killed them.
So now the other I thought was Reed's fault, not because Mitchell was the closest to Thornton on the touchdown, but that's because Reed took the cheese underneath and he shouldn't have. I thought that's what happened, and Vic kind of confirmed that. So, 1 was his fault, 1 wasn't his fault, but he got blamed for both. So, it is what it is. There's some, I always say PFF is once you get into the season, and again, we're doing it now. It's fine. We're doing it now, but this is not into the season. This is very small sample size. Once you get into the season, you'll see the consistency of the grades show up. And generally, when they say somebody's playing well, they're playing well.
Right.
And when they say somebody's playing poorly, they're saying poorly. But you have to wait a little bit longer. But for individual plays, especially in coverage, unless you're in the building, unless you know what Vic called, and thankfully, Vic is more honest than most, so he'll tell us. And he told us, and 1 was a Dory, 1 was Reed, but Reed got blamed for both.
Yeah, good stuff there. Let's go to Super Chat here. JD3, what's up, JD? I'm ready to watch Jared Verse, one of my favorite guys from last season. Like Lane and Jordan, better pack a lunch. Wow. Coming at you. Yeah. No, he's had a good year, though, Jared Verse already.
Yeah, he's a very good player. Yeah, Jordan knows. Jordan Mailata knows. He raved about their front. It was actually that Jordan Lane, because I was like in the playoffs last year, I was like, boy, that was a shitty performance by Minnesota, and everybody was shitting on Sam Darnold, who took, I think, 9 sacks in that game. And I'm like, in Minnesota, their best offensive lineman was hurt. Christian Darrisaw, he was out, and their interior offensive line wasn't good to begin with. And I'm like, shitty offensive line, quarterback panics. And then I got to the Jordan and Lane, and they're like, these guys are freaking good, man. And they are good. And, it's not only Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, and he's a little bit banged up, so hopefully that hurts. Kobe Turner is a big time player. Big time player. Byron Young, Jared Verse outside linebacker. Byron Young's more of an off-ball linebacker, but he can rush the passer. They're good up front.
Yeah, they are.
Now, but they're undersized. Now they added Poona Ford, and that was the thing. The Eagles got him. They couldn't stop the run. But as a pass rushing group, they are freaking a pain in the ass. And when the Eagles tackles tell you that, you listen to them.
Yep. That Braden Fisk, keep an eye on him because if he can't go this weekend, he only played 13 snaps last week, got injured in pregame of last week. So we'll see if he can go this week. But he is one of their good interior pass rushers as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. Appreciate everybody for being here this morning. JD, thanks for the super chats, brother. Thanks everybody as well. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, all right, we have Caden Steele in hour number 2. And I also want to start to look at this Rams-Eagles game a little bit closer too, get some of John's keys to the game, and we'll have a full Football Friday deep dive into the game tomorrow as well. So appreciate everybody for being here. Hit that like button. We'll be right back on Birds 365.